This Christmas is not here to decorate your life. It's here to rebuild it. If this year broke you, exhausted you, or almost made you quit, listen carefully, because Christmas still carries power for you. Christmas arrives quietly, but it carries a power that can shake the deepest parts of the human soul. It does not come asking who you are, what you lost, or how broken your year has been. It comes anyway. It shows up in the middle of unfinished dreams, unpaid bills, silent prayers, empty chairs at dinner tables, and hearts that learned how to smile while hurting. Christmas has never been about perfection. It has always been about presence, about light entering darkness without permission, about hope being born where no one expected it. For many people, Christmas is joy, laughter, and warmth. For others, it is survival. It is remembering what once was, grieving who is no longer here, and pretending everything is fine because the world expects celebration. But Christmas does not judge you for how you feel. It does not demand happiness. It offers something far more powerful, permission to begin again. Faith is not about having all the answers. Faith is choosing to believe when the evidence says you shouldn't. Faith is waking up every day and deciding not to quit, even when your strength feels borrowed. Christmas reminds us that faith was never loud. It was born in silence, in a small place, with no applause, no spotlight, just belief that something greater was possible, even when the world looked unchanged. You may feel like this year took more from you than it gave. You may feel tired in ways sleep can't fix. You may feel like you've been strong for too long, carrying responsibilities, expectations, and pain without ever putting them down. Christmas doesn't ask you to be strong. It asks you to be honest, honest about your wounds, honest about your fears, honest about your hope, even if it feels small. Hope does not mean everything will magically improve overnight. Hope means you are willing to believe that today is not the end of your story. Hope is the quiet decision to keep going when quitting would be easier. Hope is lighting a candle in a room full of darkness and trusting that even a small flame matters. Christmas is that flame. A fresh start doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, a moment where you realize you are still here, still breathing, still capable of change, still worthy of joy. A fresh start is not about erasing the past. It's about refusing to let the past define what's possible next. Christmas reminds us that broken beginnings can lead to powerful endings, that setbacks are not stop signs. That loss does not mean life has ended. It means life has changed, and change, as painful as it can be, is often where growth begins. Faith teaches us to trust the process even when the path is unclear. Hope teaches us to look forward even when we've been hurt before, and a fresh start teaches us that no matter how many times we fall, we are allowed to rise again. You don't need a new year to begin again. You don't need permission from anyone. Christmas itself is proof that new beginnings can happen in the middle of the mess, in the middle of winter, in the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of a world that feels divided and tired. This season is not asking you to forget what you went through. It's asking you to carry it differently, to let your pain make you deeper, not bitter, to let your scars become symbols of survival, not shame, to let your story inspire strength, not silence. There is power in choosing faith when doubt surrounds you. There is power in choosing hope when disappointment feels familiar. There is power in choosing a fresh start even when fear whispers that it's too late. Christmas stands as a reminder that it is never too late to become who you were meant to be. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are not where you started. That alone is something to honor. Growth is not always visible, but it is always happening beneath the surface. Like seeds planted in winter soil, your future is forming even when you can't see it. This Christmas, you don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to hope. You are allowed to believe that something good is still ahead of you. Faith is choosing light when darkness feels comfortable. Hope is choosing courage when fear feels familiar. A fresh start is choosing yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. And Christmas is the reminder that all of this is possible. The power of Christmas is not found in decorations or gifts. It is found in resilience, in forgiveness, in compassion, in the quiet decision to keep going when life has tested you again and again. This season invites you to pause, to reflect, to breathe, to remember that your life has meaning beyond what you've lost, that your future is not cancelled because your past was painful, that your dreams are not foolish because they were delayed. Christmas is not the end of a year. It is a bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. And as you stand on that bridge, you are allowed to let go of what no longer serves you. Guilt, regret, fear, self-doubt, they do not get to come with you into what's next. You are stronger than this year tried to make you believe. You are wiser than your mistakes. You are braver than your fears. And this Christmas, you are allowed to start again. Sometimes the hardest part of Christmas is the quiet, the moments when the noise fades and you are left alone with your thoughts. That is when memories speak the loudest. What you lost, what didn't work, the people you tried to save but couldn't, the version of yourself you no longer recognize. In those moments, it's easy to believe that you failed. But Christmas does not see failure the way the world does. It sees survival. It sees courage in getting up one more day. It sees strength in scars you never asked for. Faith grows strongest when it is tested. Anyone can believe when life is easy. But believing when life hurts, when answers don't come, when prayers feel unanswered, that is where faith becomes real. Christmas was born in uncertainty. No guarantees, no roadmap, just trust. Trust that what was beginning would matter, even if it started small. You may feel like your faith is weak right now, like you don't have the energy to believe the way you used to, but faith is not measured by how loudly you pray or how confident you feel. Faith is measured by whether you choose to continue, even when doubt is screaming in your ear. And the fact that you are still here, still listening, still breathing, that is faith in action. Hope often gets misunderstood. People think hope means pretending everything is fine. It doesn't. Hope means facing reality without letting it destroy you. Hope means acknowledging the pain without allowing it to steal your future. Hope means saying, "This hurts, but it won't define me forever." Christmas doesn't promise a perfect life. It promises presence. The reminder that even when you feel abandoned, you are not alone. That even when the road is dark, light exists. That even when your heart feels heavy, it still beats with possibility. A fresh start doesn't come when everything is fixed. It comes when you decide you deserve better, when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating a meaningful one. When you realize that healing is not about becoming who you were before the pain, it's about becoming someone stronger because of it. You don't need to carry everything you've been carrying. Some of the weight you hold is not yours anymore. Guilt from old decisions, shame from lessons already learned, anger toward people who couldn't love you the way you needed. Christmas invites you to put those burdens down, not because they didn't matter, but because they've taught you enough. Letting go is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's understanding that holding on to pain does not honor your past. It traps your future. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you refuse to let it control the rest of your life. Faith teaches you to release what you cannot change. Hope teaches you to believe in what you cannot yet see. A fresh start teaches you to step forward even when your legs are shaking. This season reminds us that miracles don't always arrive as dramatic moments. Sometimes they arrive as strength you didn't know you had, as peace in the middle of chaos, as clarity after confusion, as courage when fear told you to stop. You may not feel like celebrating this Christmas, and that's okay. Celebration is not a requirement. Presence is, showing up for yourself is, allowing yourself to feel, to heal, to breathe without apology is. There is no deadline on becoming whole, no timeline on healing, no competition on success. Your journey is yours, and it matters just as it is. Christmas is a reminder that life is still offering you opportunities, even if they don't look the way you expected. That doors are still opening, even if some closed painfully. That growth is still possible, even after disappointment. You don't need to rush. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to take the next honest step. Faith is taking that step even when you're scared. Hope is believing the step matters. A fresh start is trusting that the path will reveal itself as you move. And maybe this Christmas, the greatest gift is not something you receive, but something you release, the pressure to be perfect. The fear of failing again, the belief that you've missed your chance. You haven't. As long as you are breathing, there is more life waiting for you, more growth, more purpose, more meaning. Christmas stands as proof that beginnings can happen in the most unlikely moments. This season does not ask you to forget the past. It asks you to learn from it, to honor it, and then to step beyond it. Your pain did not come to destroy you, it came to shape you. Your struggle did not come to break you. It came to build you, and your story is not over simply because the chapter was hard. Christmas is not the finish line. It's the reminder that the journey continues, and that you are strong enough to walk it. There comes a moment in every life when you realize that survival has shaped you more than success ever did. That the nights you cried in silence, the days you showed up exhausted, the moments you wanted to quit but didn't, those moments built a strength no applause could ever give you. Christmas arrives not to erase those moments, but to honor them. You are not behind, you are not broken beyond repair, you are not weak for needing time. You are human, and being human means learning, falling, rising, and learning again. Faith is not about certainty. It is about trust. Trust that your effort matters, even when results are slow. Trust that who you are becoming is worth the discomfort. Trust that life has not singled you out for suffering without purpose. Hope does not deny the pain you carry. It coexists with it. It sits beside your wounds and whispers, "This is not the end." Hope is the quiet confidence that no matter how long the night feels, morning will come. A fresh start begins when you stop introducing yourself by your past, when you stop letting your worst moments speak louder than your growth, when you stop believing that mistakes disqualify you from joy. You are allowed to redefine yourself. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that were built in survival mode. You are allowed to want more, even if you once accepted less. Christmas is a reminder that identity is not fixed. That you are not trapped in who you were last year, last month, or even yesterday. Change is not betrayal of your past. It is respect for your future. You have learned how to endure. Now it's time to learn how to live. To move from simply making it through the day to building days that matter. To shift from protecting yourself from pain to opening yourself to possibility. This doesn't mean fear disappears. It means courage speaks louder. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. There is power in choosing yourself, in setting boundaries, in walking away from what drains you, in committing to what strengthens you. Christmas reminds you that self-respect is not selfish, it's necessary. You don't owe anyone the old version of you. You don't owe explanations for your growth. You don't owe loyalty to environments that limit you. Your responsibility is to your healing, your purpose, and your peace. Faith helps you trust that choosing yourself is not wrong. Hope helps you believe that better days will follow. A fresh start helps you take action instead of waiting for permission. You have carried enough. Now it's time to carry belief. Belief in your worth. Belief in your resilience. Belief that your future can be different from your past. Christmas doesn't ask you to forget what shaped you. It asks you to use it, to turn pain into perspective, to turn loss into wisdom, to turn struggle into strength. You are not here by accident. Your story matters, your voice matters, your presence matters. Even on days you feel invisible, the world may never fully understand what you've been through, but you don't need the world's validation to know your value. Your journey has meaning simply because you lived it and chose to keep going. A fresh start is not about changing everything at once. It's about changing one thought, one habit, one belief, one decision, and letting that decision build momentum. Faith begins when you decide not to quit on yourself. Hope grows when you imagine a life that feels lighter, and a fresh start happens when you act in alignment with that vision. You don't need to be fearless, you just need to be willing, willing to try again, willing to believe again, willing to open your heart even after it's been hurt. Christmas stands as a reminder that light does not wait for darkness to disappear. It enters it, and so can you. You are allowed to dream again. Even if past dreams failed, even if disappointment made you cautious, even if trusting feels risky, the greatest act of faith is believing that you are worthy of a life that feels meaningful. The greatest act of hope is choosing not to give up on that belief. The greatest fresh start is living as if that belief is true. This season invites you to step into who you are becoming, not with pressure, but with patience. Growth is not rushed. Healing is not forced. It unfolds, and as you move forward, remember this. You survived what you thought would destroy you. That alone proves you are capable of more than you realize. Christmas is not asking you to be perfect. It's reminding you that you are powerful simply because you continue. At some point, you realize that healing is not about going back to who you were before the pain. It's about moving forward with a deeper understanding of yourself. It's about recognizing that what hurt you also revealed you. It showed you your limits, your needs, and your strength. Christmas arrives with a message that purpose is often born from pain, that the hardest chapters of your life were not wasted. They were shaping you for something greater than comfort. They were teaching you empathy, patience, and resilience. Faith is trusting that your life has meaning beyond what you can currently see, that your struggles were not random, that the lessons you learned will one day serve a purpose bigger than you. Hope is believing that your future is not defined by what you've lost, but by what you choose to build next. Hope looks forward without denying the past. It says, I will carry what I've learned, but I will not live in what hurt me. A fresh start begins when you forgive yourself, not just once, but repeatedly, for not knowing better, for staying too long, for leaving too late, for choices made from fear instead of confidence. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's releasing the right to punish yourself forever. You were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. And now you know more. That means you get to do better, not because you're ashamed of the past, but because you've grown beyond it. Christmas teaches us that love is not fragile. It survives disappointment. It survives distance. It survives time, and the most important love you will ever practice is the one you offer yourself. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need to justify peace. You don't need to explain why you are choosing a healthier path. Your life is allowed to feel lighter. There is courage in slowing down, in choosing alignment over approval, in building a life that reflects your values, not just your responsibilities. Faith gives you the courage to trust yourself again. Hope gives you the patience to let things unfold. A fresh start gives you the permission to change direction without shame. You are not obligated to repeat cycles just because they are familiar. Familiar does not mean healthy. Comfortable does not mean right. Growth often begins when you choose discomfort with intention. Christmas is a reminder that new paths are allowed, that reinvention is not betrayal, that becoming more honest, more grounded, more whole is a victory. You may not know exactly where you're going, but you know where you've been, and that knowledge is enough to guide your next step. Your future does not require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present, to listen to yourself, to honor what you need to move with integrity. Faith is believing that you can trust your inner voice again. Hope is believing that voice is leading you somewhere better. A fresh start is following it. You don't need to carry every relationship, expectation, or responsibility into the next chapter. Some things were meant to teach you, not follow you forever. Christmas invites you to choose peace over pressure, meaning over noise, truth over performance. There is strength in saying no, strength in walking away, strength in resting, strength in beginning again. Your worth is not measured by productivity, success, or perfection. It is measured by your humanity, your kindness, and your courage to keep growing. This season is not asking you to change who you are. It's asking you to become more of yourself. And as you step forward, know this: the life you are building does not have to look like anyone else's. It just has to feel true to you. Christmas stands as a reminder that transformation does not need permission. It only needs intention. This Christmas, pause long enough to recognize how far you've come. Not just in achievements, but in endurance, in awareness, in courage. You have faced moments that changed you, and instead of disappearing, you evolved. That is power. Faith is not something you either have or don't. It is something you practice every time you choose not to quit, every time you speak kindly to yourself, every time you believe your life still holds meaning. Faith grows in those moments. Hope is not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It waits patiently for you to notice it, in small victories, in quiet mornings, in the strength to try again after disappointment. Hope has been with you longer than you realize. A fresh start is not a single moment, it is a series of choices, choosing honesty over denial, growth over comfort, purpose over fear. Each choice moves you closer to the life you deserve. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to become who you are meant to be next. Christmas is a reminder that light does not argue with darkness. It simply shines, and you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You only need to live it. Let this season be the moment you stop underestimating yourself. Stop shrinking your dreams to fit other people's expectations. Stop doubting your ability to rebuild. You have rebuilt before. You have risen from places you never thought you would escape. You have survived storms that tried to define you, and you are still here. Faith reminds you that your story is not finished. Hope reminds you that better chapters are ahead. A fresh start reminds you that you are allowed to write them. This Christmas, choose belief over bitterness. Choose healing over holding on. Choose courage over comfort. Release the weight of what didn't work. Honor the lessons and step forward lighter. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need approval. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You just need to begin. Begin with compassion for yourself. Begin with honesty about what you want. Begin with faith that your effort matters. Christmas is not just a celebration of what was born long ago. It is a celebration of what can still be born within you. New strength, new clarity, new purpose. Let this be the season you remember who you are beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, beneath the exhaustion. You are resilient, you are capable, you are becoming. And as this Christmas passes, carry its power with you, not in decorations or memories, but in the way you choose to live, with faith that grounds you, with hope that lifts you, with the courage to begin again. Your fresh start is not coming, it's already here.